Coffee has a very long history with us humans. Like literally 1/4 of my kitchen is just my coffee setup. It's literally been tied to bringing in the age of enlightenment, helping athletes to really increase their performance, and to even usher in the Industrial Revolution. And even though you probably are drinking it daily, or at least you know somebody who is, there's certain facts you have to know about coffee in order to use it properly, because it can absolutely transform your body and transform your health for better or for worse. So today I'm sharing 8 things that you need to know about coffee so that you can actually reap all of those body and brain benefits with zero or nearly zero of the side effects. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Element. More on them in a bit. Okay, the first is this idea of it being a metabolism booster. There are various studies that show that coffee or caffeine in general can help to raise the metabolism by about 3 to 11%, which might sound like, wow, that's a really good thing, especially if you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal. But it's important to note that this isn't very reliable because these specific benefits start to taper the more often that you're actually drinking coffee. It also doesn't really seem to work in older adults. However, there are a lot of overall metabolic benefits from having coffee on the daily. There's even studies showing that decaf coffee or green tea extract can decrease the waist circumference, which is the weight gain around your belly. It can also reduce your blood pressure and improve HDL and triglyceride. There are some study benefits as well with regular caffeinated coffee, but it's also important to note that, especially if you're looking for those heart health benefits, that caffeine can tend to raise blood pressure in a lot of people. Okay, the second thing you need to know about coffee is its impact on your sleep. This is just where it's a net negative. The caffeine in coffee blocks the receptors that make you feel sleepy, which causes you to have more disrupted sleep or makes it so that it's not as easy to fall and stay asleep. And having poor sleep, especially consistently over time, can lead to a lot of health issues, especially weight gain and weight gain on the belly due to increased insulin resistance from poor sleep. Poor sleep can also cause the hunger hormone ghrelin to go up and cause you to crave more sugary, starchy, sweet foods. And poor sleep can throw off your circadian rhythm and make your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, higher than it should be. Now, typically, depending on the person, we need about 6 hours to metabolize caffeine. Some need a longer amount of time, like myself, if you're a slow metabolizer. So you really need to make sure that you know your tolerance and have caffeine earlier in the day so that it's not going to disrupt your sleep. Okay, the third thing you need to know is coffee's impact on your athletic performance, because this is actually really widely variable. Now, coffee, but the caffeine specifically in coffee, has been used for enhancing sports performance for so long. It's like the original ergogenic aid. The reason why it works so well is it can help to decrease the perception of fatigue. So it can make you push yourself harder and longer in a workout, which can, in theory, make you get better results. Even if you're just like casually working out, it can help you to get more out of each of those workouts by helping to push yourself a little bit harder than maybe you would without it. This is why the whole industry of pre-workout exists. But the interesting thing that you need to know is that this impact definitely varies from person to person. In fact, there's a recent study that showed that those who are slow metabolizers, like myself, actually have worsened performance when they have caffeine before their workout. And I actually would always notice this. I hate going to the gym when I have had coffee. I always go to the gym completely fasted without eating anything, without drinking anything other than water. And that's when I always get my best workout, where other people just absolutely crush it at the gym when they've had their cup of coffee. So it definitely depends on the person. You just need to know if you are one of those slow metabolizers or not. And most people aren't going to go through the testing involved to figure that out. So really, you just have to determine it based on how your body is responding. If you notice that you don't feel as good working out with caffeine, then you're probably one of those slow metabolizers and you'd be better not having caffeine before your workout. But something that most of us can actually really benefit from with our workouts is actually getting proper electrolytes, like with today's sponsor, Element. In fact, I'm actually literally drinking the grapefruit one right now. It is my all-time favorite. But if you don't know Element, it's an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with intermittent fasting, low-carb eating, and athletes in mind. It actually contains the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help balance out electrolyte levels, all without having any sugar and actually tasting really great. This is one thing I noticed when I was just taking salt for my electrolytes. I was not as consistent with it because it just didn't taste as good. Even though I knew the benefits, even though I knew it was really important, I just wasn't as consistent with taking it. But I never missed taking Element because it actually tastes so amazing. Element comes in a ton of different flavors. Like I mentioned, grapefruit is my absolute all-time favorite flavor. However, they also have a lot of other different flavors, like their orange and citrus and raspberry. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serve packets free with any Element order. It's a really great way to test out all 8 flavors. So you can get yours at drinkelement.com/autumn. This is only available through my link, so make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link is also in the description down below. Okay, the fourth thing that you need to know about coffee is that it is a gateway to sugar. I came across a poll that said only 1 in 5 people drink their coffee black. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is loading up their coffee with sugar. This could just be they're also adding in something like cream or milk, which is what I personally do. However, it is really easy to add a lot of sugar into your coffee. Just take a look at the line of like Starbucks drinks as an example. If you look at anything from like a vanilla latte to the pumpkin spice latte to like whatever else trendy type of drink they're coming out with right now, a grande size will have anywhere between 30 to 50 grams of added sugar, which is like a quarter cup of added sugar. And any of the health benefits, the metabolic benefits that you would want to be getting out of that coffee, out of that caffeine, is completely going to be negated by that added sugar. So it's much better just add some cream, some nut pods, make a keto coffee, or if you do need to have some type of sweetness, add a little bit of stevia or monk fruit, which is naturally going to be 0 sugar. Okay, the fifth thing you need to know is that coffee, but specifically the caffeine in coffee, is a natural appetite suppressant. Now, one of the theories behind why it suppresses our appetite is because it does help to raise our serotonin. Both of these can help to overall reduce our hunger, which if you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal, that can be helpful. We talk a lot on my channel about the importance of making sure that you feel full and satisfied and you don't feel hungry in order to have a sustainable weight loss goal. However, I found that too much suppression of this hunger, especially with something like caffeine, where it's kind of artificially suppressing your hunger, it's not actually providing food or sustenance for the body. It's kind of like tricking you into feeling not hungry. Too much of this feeling can actually have a huge rebound effect, because if you aren't feeling hungry earlier when you are supposed to be eating your meals, and so you don't eat as much, and then by the time that caffeine wears off and you do start to get hungry in the evening, you can start to feel very, very hungry and get this sudden blood sugar crash that causes you to not only be ravenous, but start to crave those types of foods that also are not in line with your goals. So it's that terrible combination of actual true hunger with also a lot of cravings because you're getting this blood sugar crash from not eating enough during the day, which of course can lead to binging on ultra processed foods that are not in line with your health or wellness or weight loss goals, which of course all of this can counter those benefits that coffee could provide. So be aware that coffee is naturally going to make you feel less hungry. So especially if you're somebody who maybe doesn't already have a huge appetite or can tend to accidentally skip meals, you might want to not overdo it on the caffeine and still make sure that you're sticking to 3 protein, fat, and fiber rich meals. The sixth thing that you need to know about coffee is that it is a cortisol spiker. So this can actually be really helpful in the morning. This is one of the reasons why we all reach for it in the morning, to help get our day going, help to get a little bit of an energy boost. And in the morning, we should have a bit of a cortisol spike. Naturally, even without caffeine, we do get a spike of cortisol to help us wake up and feel energized for the day and get the day started. If you had low cortisol in the morning, that would actually be a really bad thing. That would be not in line with your circadian rhythms. You would feel really tired and really lethargic. So having some of that cortisol spike is not necessarily a problem. However, we want to make sure that we are timing it properly, because with cortisol, we get this big spike in the morning and then we want it to taper off throughout the day to then have it be pretty low in the evening so that melatonin, our sleep hormone, can start to go up and we can get deep, high quality sleep. However, if you're having caffeine throughout the day, like you have it first thing in the morning and then you have it again at like 10, and then maybe you go out for like a late afternoon cappuccino at like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., that is going to cause your body to get all these little bumps of cortisol and make it so you're not going to get that natural lowering of cortisol, and therefore it's going to throw off the circadian rhythm. So we need to properly balance out coffee, make sure that we're having it at the right time, keeping it to the morning and not having it in the afternoon. Okay, the 7th thing you need to know about coffee is probably something that you didn't know before, and it's that it can be a liver cleanser. There's actually been some studies showing that coffee can help to reduce liver fat, and it can even help to increase the antioxidant production of something called glutathione, which is really important during liver detox. However, again, this is completely countered if you add in sugar into your coffee, or if you're having too much caffeine that also needs to be broken down by the liver. Both the fructose that's in sugar as well as caffeine need to be broken down by the liver, so you can overload the liver as well if you're loading it up with sugar as well as caffeine. So we want to strike that balance, like again, 1 to 2 cups per day, to make sure that you're not overdoing it but still getting the benefits. Okay, the 8th thing that you need to know about coffee is that it is technically a drug, or at least caffeine is technically a drug, literally classified as one. And when you really think about it, it does make sense. So you can get withdrawal symptoms when you haven't had your cup of coffee. There's addictive like qualities where you have one, then you feel like you want another. And people absolutely need their coffee. Just like with various drugs, there's also downsides of too much caffeine, like rapid heart rate, anxiety, getting poor sleep, all of the other things I mentioned earlier. So really understanding how caffeine impacts your body and not going overboard is going to be really important to make sure that you can actually get those benefits of the caffeine without also getting a ton of those negative side effects. And just like with various medications or drugs, everybody's response is going to be bio-individual, which means some people, like myself, really can just stick to 1 cup a day and really just like 1/3 caffeinated coffee per day, get those benefits, but also not have the negative side effects, whereas others can have multiple cups of coffee and feel perfectly fine and still get those benefits. Really knowing your sweet spot is the important thing when it comes to coffee and caffeine. And if you do like your coffee sweet, if you do find that you're adding sugar, this can completely ruin the benefits of the coffee that it would provide. And it can be really tough to kick a sugar tooth. I know from personal experience. However, a while back, I shared exactly what I did to break my sugar addiction. So if you want that step-by-step strategy, it's really simple. You can find it with this video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.